Hello my friends, welcome to this YouTube video. Today's video we'll be talking about blending colors, the best way I blend colors using Photoshop. So we'll be talking mainly about three kinds of blending and I'm going to show you my favorites. So let's get started. The first one we'll be talking about is the paint fill or gradient fill. This technique, you could do it on a different layer and make a clipping mask, or you do it on the same image you're working on. But it involves you using a soft brush and adjusting its setting. I'm going to be making my opacity to like 50%, airbrush on, and I'll be using a soft round brush. So it just involves you putting the color gently and lightly. If I need to put another color, I do it the same, gently and lightly, so it blends. So this is very good, but it's not best for all kinds of work. There are some places you will have rough edges and some kind of painting you really need to do blending. It might not work, but this is just good on places where you just need a nice feel and give you that soft touch easily. On hard edges, on muscular objects, on some rough contours, this might not be the best. Our second is the Smudge Brush. You may already be familiar with this. The thing with this, most times it's better you paint on the image itself you are working on and you make that adjustment. For this Smudge Brush technique, as you've already guessed, we'll be using the Smudge Brush. So we can paint even using a hard brush like this. Then we blend the middle, the colors in the middle. So it depends on your strength now using a Smudge Brush. If I put my strength on something as low as 10 or 11, you could see how it blends. If I make it 50 or 75, let me undo this, you could see how it blends and it takes a toll on your processor. So you might want to also be careful about the edges. So most times it's better you leave the strength low. You might want to play with it a bit. As you can see, we have to be careful about the edges as well. So it has its way, the way it works. Just using it just like that, without adjusting the brush setting, you may have to watch out for a lot of things. I don't normally like using this brush technique a lot, but if I'm to use it, I will have to adjust the brush setting, and I'll show you how I do it. Clicking your smudge brush, you right click and select your brush. I may select a soft round brush. From the brush settings, I make sure scattered is clicked on, and I click scatter, then I adjust the count data and the scatter. Then the count, the jitter, I may reduce it or increase it. So I click the brush tip shape. Here you see spacing. I increase the spacing. I reduce the scatter. So you could see how the brush looks now. Once I apply it, it's a bit soft. I can always undo, make some adjustments on my control jitter or the count. I may make the count lower. See, it's softer blending. Or I make it higher. You could see the way it blends. So you might want to just play around these settings and get the right one. And once you're okay with it, you could save the brush and leave it for later. you right click, new brush presets, and you save it. Our next brush will be our mixer brush. I know you will like this as well. So we go to our brush, click the drop down, and we click our mixer brush. With mixer brush, defaultly it may come with either clean or load brush. So load brush shows you the color that you the paint, that the background, the foreground paint. So you may want to change it to clean brush. Then if this setting is not there, this crossed, you may want to put this, check it, then adjust your wetness or your load. You could adjust all these settings. I would like to keep it minimal. Then you come in here and you try to blend. If it's not working well for you, you could always change the brush. You could see I changed the brush I was using and it's giving me a different result. And voila, this does it better than the mixer, than the smudge brush. You may be wondering, why don't you just use the first technique we use, the brush fill? In some complex painting, that doesn't work. So this is really good when you're blending in between two colors, and it gives it that smooth transition. I prefer this over the smudge brush, and I do like this more, and the next one I'll be talking about. The last one is our paintbrush blending. It's similar to the other one we did, but you can use it in complex places, and also I can use it on another layer, and I can just clip the layer on top. I can work on another layer on top of it, not necessarily the same layer I'm working on. So let us do this. I will choose a brush, maybe a soft brush, make the opacity very moderate or low, like 40% or 50%. Then I always use my Alt key. You choose the lighter color and you fill on top of it. It gives you another color here. You select the middle color, you fill on it. If you need to increase the opacity, you do that. So you keep mixing it using your Alt key, holding your Alt key. I select the color, I paint on it. I select the color close to where I want again, I paint. I select using my Alt key. I select the darker. I could select the darker and fill the light one. I can increase my brush stroke. I like this technique because it gives me control. You can see. If I want another color, I want a darker color, I can always just blend both. By selecting your Alt and selecting in between. So this is majorly the best method I use while doing my paint blending. There you go. So mostly I combine a lot of this technique at once when doing a painting. So they all have their strengths and where to use it. I will show you the application in our next image, so you could see how it's best and when it's best to use this. In most cases, this is how I like to do it. I create a layer on top of it and I mix them all at once. You click the layer. I could use a hard brush to block my colors. I could even use the same way of blending, just the brush method, but it doesn't matter because I know I'll fix this while blending. So this is how I like to do it. I like to block out the color. We're having the first rain for the year, and this is a good news. So sorry about that. You may hear some interference of wind and all. So this is the best way I do this. I put where I feel the light and shadow should be, then I blend it using all of the techniques. My smudge. Let's use the mixer brush. You can see how smooth the mixer brush makes it look in comparison with the smudge brush. So let me use my favorite, which is just the brush tool, to blend it. You can see how much control this gives me. I wanted here to be sharp. I just need to use the brush tool. So there are a lot of things. Just having the brush you could paint and put on top of it gives you that flexibility. Another reason I like this brush tool is if you don't want it so smooth, you want to have a bit of texture, you could choose the brush you want or just use your hard brush or different kind of brush, and it gives you a different texture while it's still blended. So if I want that organic artistic brush feel, you could achieve it using this method. So it's still blended, but it's not looking so smooth. So depend on what you want. If you want it smooth, you could have it. If you don't want it, you could have this way. And there you go. If you enjoyed this video, you could like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of any cool videos we bring out. And until then, I'll see you, my friend. Have a blessed week.